Always really, really bothered me how TikTok decided to bastardize a limpia espiritual because you guys are over here making fucking chilaquiles with your fucking egg cleanse. Like, it quite literally looks like chilaquiles in a fucking glass. And I'm like, oh, maybe somewhere out there it's a thing to put fucking hot sauce and cayenne pepper and other bullshit inside of your glass. But I have never heard of that shit being in the Mexican tradition. I'm just gonna tell you right now, I don't know any state in Mexico that fucking does that shit. That is not what my abuelita does, and she's in her 90s. That is not what my tias do, and they're in their 60s. We're not making chilaquiles in our fucking glass. We're just not doing that. That's what the fuck it looks like you're doing, and that's not what we do. I should also add the fact that we don't even add shit into the glass. Technically, you could add salt if you wanted to, whatever. But usually when we have it in the glass, it's to look at what's wrong with you. It's kind of like a divination thing to be like, oh, you have evil eye, you have this, you have that. Whatever it is, you would get more out of that egg cleanse being done on you and just taking it to a crossroads and leaving it there with a little offering or something. That or leaving it somewhere else appropriate would be a lot more effective than doing this whole thing of fucking making chilaquiles out of that shit. Now, I remember Loki getting into it with another Mexican creator on here because they wanted to be fucking weird about the whole thing related to the divination of it all. And I decided to spill a little bit of the tea on that stitch that I did on how to read some of the stuff. Basic stuff. I didn't even go into too much detail. I went into needling and cobwebs. That's about it. And the bubbles, I guess, on how to read it. And they were so pressed. They were so mad about it. And I was like, girl, I'm not a huge gatekeeper, but when it comes to the divination of doing the egg cleanse, that's not closed. Doing the divinatory part of that. What is closed and what you shouldn't be doing is when you're over here doing that specific thing, limpia espiritual, and you're over here trying to charge people for it, and you're not Mexican. That's a little weird. And I'm not even saying that you can't do it independently. You go to any botanica that is owned by a Mexican person, they're going to tell you, listen, go do that egg cleanse. What they're not going to tell you is go do it and start charging people for it after you learn how to do it, because it's fucking stupid. Also, yes, there are other ways to do it. That's another thing you also have to keep in mind. There's an Italian way to do it. There is a hoodoo way that they do it as well, but those are all not the same. Just letting you know. You are cracking it into glass. It is for the purpose of divination in order to read it. So whenever people do that and they start adding fucking chilaquiles ingredients, what are you doing? Stop. You're better off putting it in like a paper bag or some other kind of thing and then tying that up with some sort of twine, taking it to a crossroads or some other kind of appropriate space and leaving it there. Leave offerings, as you always should, in case you didn't know that. Anytime you leave something somewhere or you take something from somewhere, leave an offering. But please, please stop making chilaquiles with your fucking egg cleanse, especially if you're Mexican, because that is not something that we've ever done. But we don't do that.